Attack on Titan is full of iconic characters. You have the short guy, the girl who steals the bread, and of course, the horse. However, one character among them has always stood out to me. The Wall. Contrary to popular belief, the Wall isn't my favorite character because it stays bricked up. It's because the Wall has perhaps the most compelling, the most interesting, but also the most hidden character arc in the entire show. No cap. Get ready to dive in faster than I dive into Mikasa's chiseled abs. Let me introduce you to Walter, the Wall Titan. Yeah, I know, whoever came up with his name must be pretty uncreative. He's been lying dormant in the walls for many years. Having been kept away from sunlight, he's unable to move very much, but he still stands stalwart as a bastion against the outside world. For a long time, Walter has had an extremely important question on his mind. What is humanity? To say that's a loaded question would be a bit of an understatement. Humanity could refer to the biological quality of being a member of the Homo sapiens species. Humanity could also refer to human nature and our capacity for reason, morality, creativity, and social interaction. Indeed, the concept of humanity is as vast as these. Walter, the Wall Titan, used to be a human before King Fritz turned him into a Titan. So is he now a Titan, or is he a human? Sure, he's probably incapable of human thinking, but after all this time, he's been protecting the population of parodies from the outside world. It's as if the narrative is saying you must become a monster to fight against the monsters. This theme is nothing new, it's basically a meme at this point, but Attack on Titan takes it a step further in how it depicts conflict. No one is a hero. No one remains innocent. When faced with such an atrocious situation, these characters feel as if they have to commit atrocities. It's all for the sake of one's friends, family, and people. But there's a certain comic relief character that you might not expect to have a brutal response against losing one's humanity. Sasha Browse. When you hear that name, what's the first personality trait you think of? For me, I'd say her most obvious quirk is her love for food. Now, this brings a crucial topic because food is one of the strongest driving factors that has fueled civilization. Without the need for food, humanity wouldn't have to carry out some of its most impactful actions, such as developing agriculture and sailing across the Atlantic to get spices from Asia, which then led to the discovery of America, the protagonists of the world. Sasha represents a fundamental aspect of humanity. Initially though, Sasha is a glutton that would steal food without any thought about where it came from, only thinking about herself. This mindset is almost animalistic in nature. People like to think that they are compassionate, but our world is one that encourages selfishness. Likewise, Sasha is mainly worried about her own survival in the beginning. One could see Sasha's mindset as inhumane, but I also see it as pure, childlike innocence in the sense that she's, well, acting like a child. I can't say that her morals are any better than any other character, or that her actions are excusable in any way, but she doesn't hold any lofty ideals to justify the Eldians' atrocities. She even becomes genuine friends with Niccolo, a Marleyan cook. In the end, her death is so impactful to the other scouts because she represents that last vestige of humanity in the group, that fun-loving attitude and desire to enjoy the simpler things in life. It's no coincidence then that her death occurs during the attack on Marley, the moment when the Eldians wipe out many thousands of civilians, shedding all pretenses of morality. Walter has never been a very talkative individual. Like all of us, he's got a few secrets, quite a few scandals the royal government doesn't want the general population to learn about. There's a theory that he cheated on Walda, but it's not explicitly said within the story, so it's mostly speculation. But I digress. Initially, the walls are presented as symbols of absolute protection. They're the last stronghold against the Titans, offering a sense of security in a world overrun by colossal threats. Yet, as the story unfolds, it becomes evident that these walls are not what they seem. The series brilliantly introduces the concept of a layered narrative where every truth unearthed reveals deeper mysteries and hidden agendas. Other than Walter, almost all the main characters have an immense amount of depth. Reiner tries to come off as a strong and commanding figure, but is actually a broken man putting on a facade to hide his mental turmoil. Armin, who seems to be the innocent type, is capable of mercilessly nuking an entire harbor. Levi is cold and calculated, but he also happens to be one of the most empathetic characters. He is greatly disturbed when he discovers that the Titans he's been killing were previously human, and he was willing to take violent measures against Eren to save him from the military tribunal. For nearly every character in the series, they're never what they seem on the surface, just like the entirety of the world. In fact, Attack on Titan is a testament to the effect of ignorance. Is ignorance really bliss? You see, a wise man once said,
"If I have a problem, I stop looking at it, and then the problem goes away."
As much as I hate cleaning my bathroom, such a mindset is not always the best idea. When you're ignorant of someone else's situation, it becomes all too easy to paint them as pure evil. It's this us versus them mentality that underlies all conflict in the series. In the beginning, the Titans are the quote-unquote them, the other. They are humanoid but aberrant in their appearance. They also kill people for no other reason than for sport. Indeed, such monsters should be killed on sight, but everything comes to a head when the characters discover that Titans are human. The other is the same as us. In other words,
we're not so different, you and I.
When Reiner and Bertolt reveal themselves to be the Armored Titan and Colossal Titan respectively, we don't know their story. We don't know what they've been through and why they're attacking Paradis. When the royal government is overthrown, the characters don't realize why King Fritz adopted his pacifist ideals. In both cases, the main characters have one mindset: defeat the enemy. It is only when the characters' backstories and motivations are revealed that the blurred lines between heroes and villains become evident. This moral ambiguity challenges the conventional notions of good and evil, demonstrating that in a world shaped by war and conflict, distinguishing between right and wrong can be a near impossible task. As for Walter, the Wall Titan, he embodies the stark absence of the concept of right and wrong. Unlike the morally complex human characters in the series, Walter operates in a world devoid of ethical considerations. For him, ignorance truly is bliss. Walter will continue to endure his existence as a mere tool for the Founding Titan, lacking all desires, worries, and most importantly, free will. This is something that's been in debate for a pretty long time, free will that is. Just recently, a Stanford scientist has concluded that free will does not, in fact, exist. This notion of fatalism even goes back to the Greeks, whose stories often involve prophecies that always came true. No matter how hard someone might fight against their future, the oracle would always come out on top. Indeed, the walls of Paradis are less a means of defense and more akin to a cage. In fact, there's a track in the OST called Vogel im Käfig, which directly translates to bird in cage from German. Similarly, another song in the OST is titled
デコ女性のマーク男性のマーク左巨人
which translates to
convex female sign leftward arrow giant,
further supporting my point. Eren is depicted as a slave to the future, but even other characters, such as the royal inheritors of the Founding Titan, inherit King Fritz's vow no matter what their past ideals might have been. Ever since the beginning of Attack on Titan, Eren has sought to go beyond the walls, to become free, but of course, that freedom comes with its fair share of risks. It's almost like the Titans of Paradis are a warning to those that venture outside the known world and partake in the forbidden apple of knowledge. Even after defeating all the Titans outside the walls, there's a barrier separating Paradis from the rest of the world. Just like the Titans on the other side of the wall, there are enemy countries on the other side of the ocean. Once again, Eren wonders if, after defeating those enemies, he could finally be free. In fact, when Eren begins the rumbling, he says he's finally reached freedom, but not really. When Walter is freed from his confinement within the walls, he's still bound to the Founding Titan's will, just like Eren is bound to follow his fate. Eren believes that genocide is the best answer, but once all of his enemies are defeated, the remaining aliens will likely turn on themselves. This is what caused the Great Titan War. The aliens of old had captured the world, leaving no one but themselves to fight against. And yet, when Eren becomes the supervillain of the story, it does something profound to the people of Marley and Eldia. It brings them together. One of my favorite scenes in the entire series is the campfire scene. It depicts people from every side having a healthy and definitely friendly discussion while singing a CAMPFIRESONG song. It proves that when humanity is faced with an Avengers level threat, they can break down any wall in their path. This team-up resolution is pretty common, showing up in stuff like Code Geass, where Lelouch becomes the bigger villain to unite the world against them. But the amazing thing about Attack on Titan is that everyone isn't instantly cooperative. The show isn't some shallow shonen where enemies can become friends at the drop of a hat. There are some differences that just can't be settled. All these people still hate each other, but there's no way to stop the rumbling alone. In spite of Eren's immense power as the Founding Titan, he still refuses to control his friends' minds. He still values free will above all else. The ironic thing is that even after destroying the literal walls of Paradis, there will always be invisible walls separating politics, ideologies, and entire nations. Yes, large problems can bring people together, but consolidations won't last forever. The walls linger in the back of our minds. They might have been put up with the original intention of protecting people, but such barriers are just as capable of destroying and dividing society. So, I have a confession to make. Walter isn't an actual character. I know, I'm sorry for clickbaiting you and whatever, but if you stayed this long, it worked. I just wanted an excuse to talk about the walls. I'm sure a ton of people will be talking about the ending of the show, and whether or not you think it's good, there's still many more aspects that could be analyzed. Walls, both physical and metaphorical, have played a huge role in mankind, whether it be for the sake of defense, privacy, or confinement. Walter mirrors so many aspects of society that Attack on Titan criticizes. This is why if anyone asks me who my favorite character is in Attack on Titan, I won't say Levi, or Erwin, or even Mikasa's abs. The potato from season 1 actually comes in at a close second, but The Wall is by far the best album of all time.
Go my way, go my way. 笑顔